Holly. We are live streaming. Yay! Hello, all my Sparkle sisters. Y'all get to meet one of my best friends on the planet. So I'm going to jump on here really quick and make sure that the old girl here is live streaming where I'm supposed to. I'm sure that I'm not the only person on the planet that has dropped a live stream in the wrong place. Maybe you could type in the last time you did that. I think it just the Lord wants you to have a different message or a message for a different group of people. All right, let's see if we are here. Yes, we are here. So if y'all will, your name, where you're from, what you're excited for today. Stacy James is one of my very, very best friends. And let's see who all we've got on here with us today. Let's get this rolling. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for y'all to get going with us there. Gosh, we got Tina and Belinda and Christina, and we got 5 others. Normally we have several hundred that are on live, so I know today is going to be even more, learning all about energy. So your name, where you're from. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Christine. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Beth. Yay. We're excited for you, Terry. And again, where y'all are coming from. Last week, it was really fun. We had Brazil and Colombia, and we had all kinds of different places worldwide. You know, I was laughing, Stacy, I put in for an ad just to see what that would be like. And of course, I ended up with every pervert on the planet. It's so in love with me. I feel so good about me. And Tom's like, let me at that. I got something for him. And I'm like, no. They're just perverts. They can't help themselves. But in the meantime, what happened was we went a little more global, which is really good. And I will tell y'all, Stacy is going to be teaching on my favorite subject, which is all about energy and the energy that we put off. And the reason why sometimes you look at people, and even when they're going through horrific things, they just seem joyful and peaceful. Stacy and I are both believers in Christ. And I know we have every kind of religious affiliation in that. Stacy and I both agree joy comes from a relationship with Jesus. Just think JJ, like joy comes from Jesus. Happy comes from circumstances. Regardless of all of that, there is an energy that we put off. And I think it's been hijacked into some crazy ideas, but I love the way that Stacy has grounded it in the word. And the other thing that Stacy does with this particular topic, I think better than anybody I've ever heard, is she gives you actionable things to move it up. One of the first times I heard this training, it was so funny. They were kind of telling us where we're at. And at that particular time, I was not operating at my normal thing. And then I realized I was operating about a 400. And then I'm like, well, great. I'm glad I'm informed I'm at a 400, but I got no idea how the hey-hoo to get out of here. So that is so exciting. Oh my gosh, we got a ton on here. We got Washington and Lincoln and Winter Haven. Y'all just keep on and just hit share with some friends so y'all can get some friends on here. Y'all know this is not a Mary Kay. It's just leadership. It's just women. Y'all know we're not selling anything. We're not promoting anything. It is just about me and my friends pouring into you. So let me introduce you to this phenomenal woman who, by the way, was recognized as one of the top 125 most influenced leaders by Success Magazine in 2022. I'm sure it was my vote.
It was your vote.
I voted.
It's right over the top.
That's right. Just right there. Oh, well, of course, that's got to be it, right? She also created and founded Generations of Pink, which is a mother-daughter Christian conference that happens every year. And she is also on the board for the Grit and Grace National Board. It's a nonprofit. And I'm going to tell y'all some of her Mary Kay accolades because, you know, to think about where she came from, I know Stacy's going to start with her story. And for many of you all that kind of understand the Mary Kay world, we have like our mentors, right? And that Mary Kay pays them for mentoring us. And we have what's called an adopted mentorship. And those are people that take care of you, but they don't get paid for it. And Stacy is my adopted national sales director. And so I can remember initially whenever I got started, I thought I was hers and Jan Harris's. That's where I thought I was. And then come to find out I was in Karen Piro. So I got the best of both worlds. But Stacy is the one who poured belief into me, loved on me. In fact, we roomed together at our very first leadership conference. Just all of that. I remember whenever I had the privilege of debuting as a national sales director, I can remember every trip, Stacy, that you came and found me and Tom, and you would take my face in your hands, just like Mary Kay would have, and you looked straight into my eyes and into my soul, and you spoke truth and belief. And my wish for every person that is listening, that you would have somebody in your life that truly sees you the way that you were intended to be, the way that God knit you together in your mother's womb. That's what Stacy does for people, is she has this ability to see you in the best, most powerful version. That's why she operates at a high energy level, because she serves others. She is married to one of the most fun men on the planet, laid back. Stacy and I, we're a little up, and our husbands not so much. So they are very comfortable, like sitting together, not talking. And Stacy and I are all around every ship, going all over everywhere. She's got two beautiful, or I'm sorry, their daughters, Jennifer, Whitney, and Mackenzie. Before she started with Mary Kay, she was an elementary school teacher. She broke a company record during her director and qualification for the most orders. Oh my gosh. Just 5 months after debuting in the top 1%, she earned the use of her very first pink Cadillac, and earned one since 1983, every 2 to 3 years. Oh my gosh. She has earned top director trips since 1983. Of course, was Go Give. That's the most prestigious award. It's exactly what I just told y'all. It is the person who gives the most without pay. In other words, you're pouring into women because that's your calling. You're developing leaders because that's what we promised Mary Kay. She has trained Mary Kay in probably every country that we have been in. She she earned over $10 million in commissions during her Mary Kay career. That does not include her family security program. We can tell you more about that if any of y'all are interested in that. What I love is that we have the national sales director position, and then we have, like, always, we always laugh, you kind of have the outer circle, and then you have the gold circle and diamond circle and inner circle, and then they have like this elite, and that's where she was at, in the top 10 in the nation for the past 20 years. And Stacy, thank you for living a life that is in service of others. Thank you for not ever looking at who did you get paid for by the amount of time that you spend in. And thank you for the hours and hours and millions of dollars that you've invested in your head and your heart in order to be the extraordinary leader that you are. So, oh my gosh. So what does it feel like to understand how much you're loved? I love you. That's not where you thought I was going, but I'm really just like, I'm truly like her number one fan. I know everybody said that, but there you go.
Well, I think one of the greatest gifts you can possibly learn to do, I think you have to almost learn to do it, is to like allow yourself to soak in the love from another person. I think also it's really for you and I, and for those of us who really seek out God's direction, it is to ultimately be able to feel his love, because to know that it's there and to be able to feel it are two different things. And that has been an evolution for me in my life, to get to a place where I truly can feel his love, because when I do that, then it fills me up with the capacity to pour that out. And I don't think you have the capacity to pour that out into the hearts of other people ongoing, without reservation, without worrying about getting yourself filled up, or whether something's fair or not fair, or something equals out on who cared the most, or who did the most, or who offered the most. It really is just about a cyclical environment of what it is that you have been gifted with, that you can just continue to offer up, because we're here to serve each other. Ultimately, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, that is so true. So let's talk about
Okay.
let's talk about where you started, that maybe you didn't know about all this energy stuff as you drove around Nebraska with a car with the with the floorboard out. Like I could tell your story. Like, yeah, literally, like I've heard her
There's
story.
probably a
Y'all
lot
can,
of people that have heard me tell it a million times.
exactly. Type in if you've heard Stacy's story a million times and you can't wait to hear it again, right? As if it is like you've never heard it before. So kind
Before.
of tell us where you got started, because one of the blessings in your life is you were raised by amazing parents and a father who spoke truth into you about being an entrepreneur and thinking like a winner.
Mhm. Well, I feel like if there's two things that I would really love to love to make an impact and a difference in this world is how to help others establish a whole different way of thinking. And the thinking makes such a difference in your ability to run forward and not feel the need to protect yourself, not feel the need to worry about the rejection of others, not to feel the need of having to have approval of lots of other people in order for you to use your greatest gifts to advance in your life. And so mentality stuff, which I was raised by a dad and actually affected by a grandfather. So a maternal grandfather, my mom's dad, and then of course my father, who had this unbelievably innate understanding of the right way to think, the thinking that would benefit you, not diminish you, the thinking that would open doors for you, the thinking that was not like within the realms of common standard of thinking. And then also, in addition to that, just the depth of faith, because if your faith aligns with your thinking, I know that people, those of us who are deep in our faith, but then we have wonky thinking.
Wonky. Everybody type in wonky. So there you go. We're getting rid of wonky thinking.
Like
No
it doesn't
wonky
allow
thinking.
you, right, to
Yeah.
operate in your faith to the
I'm trying to spell that.
degree that God wants you to operate in it. Yes, messed up, wonky, small thinking that actually just kind of inhibits your ability to believe in yourself and to believe in others and see the best and look for the best and expect the best and know you're going to land on your feet and things are going to go your way. And then it doesn't mean that that always happens. It just means that if that is your focus, you're going to expand into your life more of what it is you focus upon. So do you want me to, okay, so what else? Do you want me to talk about the
Just,
beginning pieces
yeah.
or?
Well, so I know that we are going to get into the energy, and then I know you need at least 30 minutes on that. The one thing that I would love for you to speak into, and maybe you can work it into the energy part, because one of the ways that you've impacted my faith and the way that I operate and everything is to really operate in that holy anticipation that for those of us, and again, we've got every kind of career on here, but most of us are looking either for leaders or coworkers or maybe a spouse, maybe looking for friends, maybe looking for that. But Stacy, the thing that I think sets you apart is your ability to get your heart aligned with what you want and why you want it, but then to also operate that you don't have to manipulate everything. Because I remember coming to you and I'm like, I want these leaders, I want these directors, and you're like, just relax. You don't have to do all this work. Just go and operate, and they will come. And that's so peaceful compared to the world that we live in. I just got to outwork the system. Can you speak into that, or is that better in the energy part? But I that's one of the things that I think shifted the way that I worked probably 20 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's a huge one. There is, well, there's always this message as to if you are a highly successful person or you want to be a highly successful person, then there is an aspect of your heart or your life that needs to be highly ambitious in the sense that you're the person who's making it happen. Like you're pushing everything into place. You're working against, in our minds, against a resistance that we have to run out there and cause things to be shifted here or come together there or turn over all the rocks, or that there is less available. And I remember when I was in college and I was in psychology, became my favorite class of all time. And we were watching this little video by Wayne Dyer, and he had just written the book, Your Erroneous Zones, not your erogenous zones.
Oh, thought,
I
wow,
knew you
didn't know we were going there today.
It was your Rolling Stones, and that was like his first bestseller that he wrote. And in this video, he put a glass of water on the podium that he was, speaking from, and he said that most people live their life within this glass of water, and yet all the potential and all the possibilities and all the things that are available to us in our lives are like an ocean of water. So we contain what we think is available to us, and in our minds it's in a small capacity, and within ourselves we think of ourselves as our potential being a limited capacity, when actually our potential is not limited in any way, shape, or form. We have different talents, but our potential that God has birthed inside of us is that as we release our potential, as we discover it, as we move forward, as we work toward a goal, because it's not that you're not using your ambition, it's just ambition with an expectation that you're going to have the results that you want. When that aligns, then that becomes thrilling, exciting, and magical, because you're getting fueled by the anticipation of the results. But if you're working and you think this is going to be really, really hard, because people will say things like, just work harder. If you would just work harder, when you're thinking, how does that happen? Like, more time? Do I need to work with more time? Does it need to be exhausting? Do I need to, like, what does working harder mean? So that word harder I have an interesting relationship with that word. I feel that it's about devotion. I can work to a large degree of devotion. I can work to a huge degree of dedication, but I don't feel like I need to work harder in order to have the results that I want to have, and that those two things don't actually correlate as a parallel. So it is understanding that we were born to be victorious. So when God wove us into our mother's womb, when he said that I knew you before, I knitted you. I knew you. Like, I wove into you all your potential, all your possibilities, all your talents, your future, your vision. Your intention of your birth is that you have a purpose, and you're going to make an impact in this world in and of your fingerprint. It's going to be your impact. It's not going to be the impact of the person sitting next to you. It's not going to be the impact of your parents. It's not going to be the impact. It's going to be your impact. And when we start to think that we're running out of what we can impact, somebody else has already done this and somebody else has accomplished that, or when we feel like our impact needs to be different than the structure. So my structure was, I got my degree to teach school, and I felt like that was my place, my dream. My dad, being an entrepreneur, took me to lunch right after I graduated from college, and he said, "So you got your job?" I said, "I did." He said, "That's great, but I feel like you could do way more than just work for somebody else."
Love that man.
And I was like, so insulted. Like, I just went to college for 4 years, and every summer, like, there was no break in that. And that's not my personality. Like, I'm a freedom and flexibility person. I am not great at sitting in classrooms and so like, I just did this, first person in our family to get a college education. And now you are telling me that you think I can do more than that. What does that mean? Did not understand the concept at all until I brought him the Mary Kay opportunity, when I made the decision to give this a shot. And he looked at that opportunity, goes like, this is what I've been waiting for. You need open possibilities. You need to be able to run and love and leap and spin and turn and develop and use your creative energy, and working with the confines of somebody else telling you how much you can make or not make, or when you can take a vacation or can't take a vacation. That is not how your soul operates. He knew my soul. So it is understanding that we have been designed for success. Success is not elusive. Success is something we believe in. We know it's for us. We do not doubt it. We do not get confused. And then we pray for God to give us the direction and help us to understand what the specialness is in us. What is our difference between worthiness and confidence. Worthiness is knowing that regardless of our performance having been subjected to somebody else's check mark of you did so good or you did not do so well, our confidence can be a roller coaster. I mean, we can be confident on things that we're doing well, and we're working with people who also know that we're good at what we're doing. But then if we get the rug pulled out from under us, confidence can actually just like can be wiped out from under us as well. And so worthiness is that it's not about our performance, it is about what has been birthed within us. It is we are worthy to be loved. We are worthy because God is our source, because he created us to be a masterpiece. And whether we walked that out in the way we thought we were supposed to, or someone else thought we were supposed to, that does not affect our worthiness. We just need to stand up, brush ourselves off, ask for redirection, and then take what we've learned. I know that sounds so simple to do. It's not necessarily simple, but that's why if we're not operating in worthiness, it's the foundation that the confidence is built upon. And if that is not there, so many times in my life that I didn't have the worthiness, that I had the confidence. I was highly confident, and I was highly confident because I was raised in a family with my parents who said, you're amazing and fabulous. You can do anything you set your mind to. And a grandfather who taught me to believe in myself. He taught me how to visualize for things that I wanted to see come to pass. He was the one who would say to me, like, you set your own standard. You are the person who you can create your future. You are I know that it's not often that we have people in our lives. I was very blessed by that. So I, the best thing I can do is pass it on, is to help people have a different way to perceive.
Wow. I know we got to get to energy, but I don't know about y'all, but y'all start typing in. I'm going to give you a second to type that in. I love the difference, and I don't have to work harder. I just need a larger devotion, a huger, more huge dedication. And that explanation of worthy and confidence, I've never heard that. As many times as I have ever heard you speak, I've never heard how they are different, because I think we tie them together. So our worthiness goes up and down because it's tied to our confidence, and vice versa. That is so good. And then of course, with all of that, then that really is a great bridge to energy, because energy is our magnet. What we put out, we bring to us. So I'm going to bring this up to share this screen. If it's too busy, I'll do it in a little bit of a different way. But can y'all, let me get this where this is all you can see right here. Can y'all see this? You should be able to see it online. Okay. And Stacy, what I'm going to do is I'll come in and out of this as you need to, so that they can see your beautiful face. But I know you wanted to have this handout.
Right. Well, it helps give the visual so you understand what I'm talking about when I start saying 200. What in the heck does that mean? And why you're talking? Yeah. So I will give you a little bit of a background. We can leave it up as I give you the background. So there, it's so funny because when you're walking or teaching in the realm of those of us who are churched, when we talk about energy, vibrations, and frequencies, it freaks people out, because it's like, that sounds very new agey and woo, like, what are you getting into here? And that makes me uncomfortable. But then when we're talking about, of course, the Holy Spirit, in the sense of those of us who maybe aren't as familiar, that's like our conversation, then that sounds very like, ugh. So I'm just going to ask everybody for grace here, because I'm going to bounce around with this, and I mold them together. And the reason why I do from a faith standpoint is scriptures such as the river of living waters. And John, in the chapter of John, when Jesus talks about the fact that within us are rivers of living waters, that is the Holy Spirit that he gifted us with when he went to heaven, when he left the disciples, and he said to them, I am going to gift you with something that a Holy Spirit that is going to be inside of you, and he is going to direct your path, and he is going to bring remembrances to you, and he is going to be the one who's going to go before you, and he's going to make the connections. And I mean, really, it's all the super natural, phenomenal things of God, Holy Spirit stuff. So with that is a frequency and a vibration. So I know that you know this to be so, because you can feel people walk in a room, right? Like you can feel, sometimes if you have your back to the door, you can actually feel somebody walk into the room, a positive force, a happy, joyful energy. Those are the people we gravitate to. We want to be around those people that help us to feel good, because they are encompassing us in their magnitude of fun. And Diana Sumter is like the epitome of that person. Like, I don't think there's ever been a room that I have walked into that she's already been there, that I've not known right where she's at. Like, I felt right where she is. And then there are those people who are kind of, I mean, I would say they're like the, what is it? Like the lioness.
Eeyore. I always think of Eeyore
Eeyore is a
from,
perfect
from,
example. Like
from Winnie the
like the
Pooh.
grumble, 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 or even it's not even the negativity. You can just feel that there is a lack. There's a lack of joy, or there's a lack of excitement, or there's a lack of life. And you're operating in a place where there's not a connectability, because you're like hiding in plain sight, and you have sometimes chose to hide in plain sight because you've had a painful situation that's happened or occurred, a crisis in your life, that confidence got stripped away, or you're dealing with something that is, is beyond the capacity for us to separate ourselves and operate in joy. I mean, a death of a person, or actually a loss of a position or a job or something you're working toward and you just totally missed it. I mean, there are so many times we fall out of the zone, or we find ourselves just disappointed and discouraged. And then the interesting challenge is you don't know how to get out of that. So then your thoughts start to shift, and the thoughts that shift are, I'm not as good as I thought I was, and maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and why am I doing this, and who set me up for this, and then why did that happen to this person and maybe didn't happen to me, and or why do I think I can do that and be like that person, because I'm not. Or, I mean, there's several different things, but the self-talk starts to fight against us, bring us down, bring us to a place that we just are pulling ourselves out of bed, or we even walk into an environment, even full of friends, and we just feel the need to protect ourselves because we're feeling so fragile. So on this sheet, this is actually from the book Power versus Force, that was given to me by a friend who was an energy person. That was what he kind of like specialized in. It was his giftedness. And I met him through another friend who said, you're going to really like this guy. Like, he is a fun conversation person. And when I first met him, he said to me, Mary Kay, I met Mary Kay Ash once. I was like, you did? He said, yeah, I was at a insurance meeting and she spoke at this conference. And would you like to know, because he'd shown me this graph from that book, Power versus Force. And that, of course, that the title is, you don't have to force things to happen. You can operate in your power, and that will actually connect you, bring you to things. And you can say that's like the law of attraction, but we're going to go beyond that, because that also kind of gets a weird rap. But he said, would you like to know what energy level she operated in? Would you like to know what her frequency was when she was speaking from the podium? And I said, yeah. He said, well, she was at a 800, which is the highest level. And he said, that is pure anointing. That is pure anointing. So as she spoke, what was happening is the quality of her voice was anointed. And that meant it was going forward and it was impacting people in a way that was far greater than the words that she was saying. Interesting. And as soon as he said that, I thought, oh my gosh, that is why when we would go to seminar and Mary Kay would be speaking to us from the podium, you could have another person standing beside her who would have said the very same speech, and makes me cry every time because she made us, she caused us to cry. I mean, she caused us to feel what she said. Her words affected our heart, and then it affected our ability to have a dream and believe we could. And so it wasn't that her so much that her words were intended to influence us in such a way that it would override our belief in ourselves. That of course would have been her intention, but it wasn't from a position of her forcing it to happen. She was speaking from her heart, from her soul, from her love for us, her genuine, sincere, passionate love for us, which is why she started this company, because she didn't start the company for a product. We didn't have a product. She created the company first, the reason for the company, which was to help women discover how amazing they are, how extraordinary they are, create an environment to bring women into so we can support each other, love each other, lift each other, encourage each other, believe in each other. She wanted to create a company with that being the basis. And then, of course, operating out of the Go Give that you talked about, which when you are operating not about what it's in it for me, but what can I do for those? Take your thought out of it. Like when you die to self, that means that you are not operating in all the weights and balances. Like, is this good for me? Is this bad for me? Will this benefit me? Will this not benefit me? Like I have to figure out whether that's smart business or not. We didn't operate out of whether that's smart business. We operated out, we are in a leadership position to help the women who we come in contact become the best understanding of who they are and love their life and affect their children with that. Because if you affect your energy and your excitement, and your belief, the atmosphere in your home changes. And then everyone who is around it feels it, is aware of it, and it makes a difference in how they function and how they believe. So she started the company without a product and then needed to find a product. So you would assume that Mary Kay Cosmetics is because she had a cosmetic something or other, decided to start a company and make money on it, which was like totally flipped. So that's what is so remarkable about her and her impact. She truly, see, either you know if love is true or if it is not. And if you're not sure about that, not that there are people in this world who can manipulate that, because narcissists definitely can manipulate that. But when you're listening to someone, I believe you can say, Lord, show me the truth here. Like, are these words pure? Are they from this person's heart? I believe that purity, that vibration builds trust quickly with others. You don't have to build the trust, you just operate in it. Okay, so here's the deal. 200 level on this chart of energy is really kind of a hiding out. You're not really doing a vibration. 200 is like null and void. Like people are not noticing you. You're kind of invisible. Maybe you're wanting to be invisible, or maybe you're not emanating anything that really causes others to pay attention. Now, if you go below that level of energy, then you're operating in pride and comparison. And that would be you're comparing yourself to lots of other people, which we know diminishes your vibration and your frequency and your joy. It diminishes it because when we compare ourselves to other people, then as a result of that, we are always comparing their best self to our worst self, or what it is that we can't do that they can do and why they're better than us. When God says you are incomparable. I think it's incomparable. I always want to say uncomparable. You're not comparable. The comparability is not possible because I created you to be uniquely you. You're not supposed to compare yourself. Like that's an insult to the creator, because now all of a sudden you're off on this journey of trying to figure out what you need to own up to when actually it's already been birthed inside of you. So you operate in comparison, your capacity diminishes. You operate in frustration, anger, discouragement, or bitterness, meaning that's the emotion that is most prevalent in your heart and your soul right now. You're mad about that situation. Bitterness, of course, is the root of all devastation, because bitterness is feeling as if other things that have happened are controlling my ability to be what I want to be. And then getting past that, you'd start to deliberating in that spirit of bitterness. And it does create a root in your internal soul. Fear and immobilization, which happens because of fear. If we could raise young women today, which is what I'm excited about, the foundation that I'm working with right now, if we could raise young women today who would not ever be concerned about rejection, like that would not be part of their diatribe. So if we would take the fear of rejection out of everything and anything that we did, how much more would we be able to do, accomplish, or become? Because that fear is what takes our energy away. I mean, it takes even our ability to hold on to a dream away. Fear of rejection. Like if I weren't afraid of what other people would think, or what they're going to say, or what they're going to do, then if I weren't afraid of that, then I would just let myself go after things, like throw my heart over the line. So if we could raise young women who actually could operate without a fear of rejection and without the need to have approval of lots of other people, how much greater will their lives be? And there are 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds and 80-year-old women today who've never learned to get past the fear of rejection or build confidence in themselves. So it's not an age, it's something that you learn. So we can teach our young women that. I feel like so many women in Mary Kay, the lessons that we've learned because this company has existed has totally changed the availability of joy and celebration and excitement in our lives. And I heard John Maxwell make a little quote a few months ago, and he said that 80% of the people, I'm going to say United States, because when you think the world, that just kind of tilts me over. But he says 80% of the people believe that their life is going to have more difficulties, more challenges, more pain, more fear, more crisis than it will ever have in front of them. More joy, more celebration, more excitement, more anticipation. That in front of you, they believe it's going to be harder than it's ever going to be fabulous. So if you really go forward in your life and that's your thought, is that this is going to be way harder, and you're not believing it's going to be way more fabulous, exciting, magnificent, fun, victorious, thrilling, celebrations, like, so then where do you find yourself? That's where I think we start to hide out in small places in that 200 level, because our anticipation of fabulous is not a part of it. Okay, so we're going to go down to apathy. Apathy is that I just don't care anymore. I just can't even care anymore because it's too hard to even to pay attention. It just makes me crazy. So I'm going to emotionally disconnect myself from people. I don't want to know them. I don't want to get to know them. I don't want to have a conversation. And even emotionally disconnect yourself from the people that you love, because it's easier to not have to expend more emotion. So apathy is like not a happy place to be living in. And so all you have is your own thoughts and your own challenge. And then guilt, loss of integrity with yourself. And then the lowest vibration as far as shame and emotional pain. So it's not a judgment call, you guys, because we've all operated in, I mean, shame is basically an embarrassment in addition to feeling something that we shouldn't feel shame about because we had nothing to do with it, but others have caused us to feel that way, or we just have caused ourselves to feel that way, whether it's been abuse or whether it's just been something that we thought was going to end up differently than it did, a failed marriage, which I mean, all those kinds of things that we've set ourselves up to consider it was supposed to look a certain way, be a certain way, and end a certain way, and then it didn't, and then we feel shameful. Or we were in our business, like we were operating at a high level of success, and then something happens, like a pandemic, or or unexpected who knows? I mean, this is life. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint race. And something occurs and then we fall short of something. And then we feel like it's very public because everybody just saw it or knew it or was aware of it. So then we start isolating ourselves because it's easier to just not show up than for others to know that we were here and now we're not there. And or we help someone advance and then they didn't stay the course. They quit and they left. And then we felt that we must have done something wrong. I mean, there's all those kinds of things. So here's the sad part about operating in those levels of vibration are that no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you push yourself out of sheer ambition, you are working against yourself because you're having a conversation with someone to try to share a product or a mission or and your vibration is so low, it is requiring everything you have to even try to have the conversation. Or I remember people saying to me when I was a consultant, like just get on the phone and if you're having an issue, get on the phone, make some bookings, call me in the morning kind of thing. Like, and I would think, well, if I knew how to do that, I'd have done it yesterday, not today. So obviously my confidence is lacking. And so it doesn't matter if I get on the phone, people are not going to want to schedule appointments, or if I am not believing in what I'm doing, and if I'm not confident about what I'm doing. So the whole question mark is then, so how do you change it? And then here's the good news. The good news is you do not have to go back incrementally through all that yucky stuff. Like you don't have to go from shame to guilt to apathy to fear to grief to pride to here's what you get to do. You get to go right into gratitude. You can go from the lowest of lowest place and then say, I want to change. I want to operate in a level of joy and connectivity and ability to now believe in my dreams and breathe them in and resurrect the excitement or get my passion back into place. Because people will say things like passion is not sustainable. I disagree. Passion is definitely sustainable if you know how to stay in it. You got to learn how to stay in it. So you're going to fall out of it, but you can get yourself back into it. And you think that you have to work yourself back into it. And it's not that sometimes when you get out there and work, you start feeling better. That definitely is a benefit to do that. Like make yourself, and then you'll start to feel better. Like force yourself to go to the gym when you don't want to. That's like pure, that's pure discipline. That actually is a definite benefit. But if at some place you don't start to feel the joy or the endorphins from working out, then it's always going to be just pure discipline. That is not sustainable because that will exhaust you. Okay, so here's what you do. You go into your gratitude, but gratitude is important to define here. You can start writing down, like, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. You can just start making an inventory in your brain. Way more beneficial to write it down, however. There's definite ownership in thinking the thought and writing it down on a piece of paper, even more than typing. Writing it is the faintest ink. Is that what Mary Kay used to say? The faintest ink will leave an indelible etching on your heart, more than typing something on your laptop or even in your phone is the ink. So it is, you are writing it out. And then here's the important part. You have to attach your emotion to the gratitude. So if I say, I'm grateful for Diana Sumter in my life, this is what I'm grateful for. I'm going to put myself in the gratitude part of it. I'm going to say, I am grateful. I'm grateful for always knowing that I can trust her. I can always trust her. She is a confidant in my life. That if I am up, she is up with me. If I am down, she is not judging me. She's like, what can I do to help you? I love her passion. I love her joy. I love her ability to have great faith in challenging times. I I am grateful that people like Diana Sumter are in my life, because that makes the quality of my life completely different. To have people who pour into me and who I know who they are inside out and upside down. I don't have to question it. I will never, it's just to be so. That is worth millions to me right there. So the emotional part of it, you have to take ownership of the, I'm grateful for my grandbabies. Well, yeah, that's, I can say that, but then I can say, because I love their chubby thighs. Like, I love to squeeze my 6 months old little, oh, he's got the fattest little thighs. And I love to like take his little toes and I love to smell his head. And then I love my Jensen. He's my 6-year-old. So that when I hug him, because he melts into me and he says, I love you too, Shasha. I love that. I love it when Elena, who's my 2-year-old, Whitney's little girl, comes running across the whole ballroom like she did at leadership conference. That's indelibly etched in my brain, going, Shasha, Shasha, running at full speed, leaping into my arms. Like those emotions that come up when I think about my grandbabies, and I write them down. And I love this person. I love my husband because he's very yummy. And I love it when he picks me up a rotisserie chicken. I don't even have to ask. He knows that I need it. Like all the things that I'm grateful for about my awesome husband. Like you have to put the emotion in, because the emotion is what changes the vibration. The thought first, and then the elevated emotion. So then what happens is, with that emotion, you'll come right up. You'll just come right, you'll come up from shame, bam, right above 200. Will change. So you go right there all the way up. Now you're at 300 with the gratitude. And really, you guys, it's not so much important the measurement of the number. It's just that was kind of how the energy chart pulled it up. But what happens is that when you start with gratitude and you're feeling it and it's shifting your heart, and you're starting to walk around the house praising Jesus and doing prayer, singing your worship music or dancing to, when I actually did break my hip. When I broke my hip, I got a full hip replacement. The song that I listened to every single day was from Dirty Dancing. And I put Patrick Swayze on my phone and I watched him dance down that center aisle with everybody behind him. And like, that is how I'm going to be. And I'm going to be right back there dancing that way. That's my visual. That song got my energy going, so, it's those things that emotionally you can attach to. But so the gratitude then goes up to courage, because when you're grateful, then you're more courageous to talk to other people, because now I can't wait to say hi to a neighbor when I see them, take a walk and smile at someone else, or even write down something that I'm going to do that's going to require something more of me, because now I have the capacity. When I was operating in angry, I did not have the capacity to be able to set that goal and go after it, because I was so focused on the frustration of that was going over and over, and it was taking over my life. So then I go up to generosity. Well, generosity, you don't want to be generous when you're hating life. So yeah, that's not happening. But when you're in gratitude and then courage and then generosity is when you just want to give of yourself. You want to offer up compliments. And I always say, when you walk into Target, you've got to be conscious of these things. Of course, I consciously, I'm going to smile at people when I walk into Target. I'm going to smile. I'm going to say, hello. Are you having a great day? Because if you'll just smile and walk and look at someone, you just look, eye contact happens. You don't have to say anything to them, eye contact. And then they'll smile back at you and their eyes will light up. And then you say hi, and they say hi. And just say, having a great day. I'm having a great day. That is like spreading joy, because people want to be joyful. If you run into somebody who's grouchy, grumpy, negative, then they are, but it doesn't mean that you still didn't make an impact on them. So that's the fun thing about planting seeds, is that God will fertilize them. Like you created a spark of joy. And they didn't want to show you that. And maybe they didn't even have the capacity to show that to you, but it was like it was planted, and then the Holy Spirit can actually operate from it. So you planting seeds of joy and happiness and create your own environment, you can change the atmosphere of a Target with one person that molds to the next one. And definitely a church. Are you arriving at church to be served? Or are you arriving to serve? Is it like, I hope the pastor's good today because I just really need a good word? Like, you better deliver. Or I hope there's a Starbucks in this church, because if there's not, I don't know if I'm going to come back. What I want what's in it for me? Are you walking in to say, I am going to be full of joy and excitement? I'm gonna smile and nod when that pastor. So you know what my mom used to say to me? If you're happy, tell your face. Have you ever been on a Zoom with a bunch of grouchy people who really weren't grouchy, but they didn't tell their face to smile? They didn't tell their face to smile. And then it's you just, please smile at me. I want to say, please react to what I'm saying. And I know you're probably all thinkers that are doing that, and you're thinking about, I can't see anybody here but Diana, but point being, I've been on a million Zooms. People are thinking about what you're saying, and they're not, they're not reacting to what you're saying, but knowing that your smile creates another energy that is mixed with the group, it just does. So being aware and conscious of that. So now we're operating in the generosity of, and then not thinking about weights and balances, forgiveness and acceptance. I believe that we can accept other people for who they are, not feeling the need to change them, not feeling the need to overtake them, not feeling the need to tell them they're wrong, not feeling the need to just accept them and allow them to be who they are, and just add some love on top of it. So this one is forgiveness and acceptance for yourself and for others. No need to judge or feel less than anybody else. So we're not to feel less than anybody else. If you answer the question, or even the statement, I am important. If you say that, do you believe it? I am important. Or do you think I will be important someday? No, you are important right now. And it's not whether you've achieved something, accomplished something, got great grades, or any of this, or what in Mary Kay, like what car we're driving, any of those kinds of things. It is a statement. I'm significant, I'm special, I'm important. I am God's masterpiece. I have been created for a purpose. When I receive a calling, I am victorious. It is already done. I've already won. Everything's the doors are opening for me. So, okay, so we go through, where are we in time?
Oh, sorry. I'm taking notes. I'm so sorry. I have so many words to write down. Here we go. I'm so sorry. There we go. That's so good. Keep going.
Time wise. So are we like at 10 till
We've got about 5 more minutes. Are we good? Good.
Yeah, I can whip it all together. So we go to joy, unhindered celebration of life. Then we go to peace, the kind of peace that surpasses all understanding. That comes from God. That is an anointed peace. It is a place where we just are not feeling that we need to force anything into place. We get to just feel confident and peaceful internally. And joy is not something that necessarily, it is very fun to be exuberant and the person who leads the dance party. That is also fun, but that's really not the kind of joy that we're talking about here. This kind of joy is an internal joy. I feel so happy. I feel so good about, I know all things are coming together, working together for the sake of me. And my benefit, and working together for the sake of this person, and God causes all things to work together for the sake of. He weaves things together for the benefit of. Sometimes we just need to make a decision and then make the decision right, because we go after what we've decided. If God wanted you to make a different decision, he'll shift your path. So I don't always worry about some decisions. I'm more worried about indecision. Sometimes it's way easier not to make a decision, and then there's no progress, and there's nothing that he can do through us, and there's no difference that we can make. So we can make a decision, and maybe it's not the best decision, but as we go forward, he directs our path. And so he will shift and you'll meet somebody here and shift and meet somebody there and shift. And so he'll shift it as long as you're on a path. Can't do it if you're not on a path. So got to be going in direction. That's why you need the goals and you need to write them down and you need to. So, okay, so I'll take this up real quick. So then we're peace, then it goes to enlightenment, passion, irresistibility. So irresistibility is that, you know, people want to be around you. People want to spend time with you. People want to have conversation with you because there is such a vibration of appreciation and love and celebration and belief in them. All of that just works together. Mary Kay's internal gratitude and genuineness of heart and spirit. Okay, so I was going to tell a quick story, not even about myself, but Grace Lear is she lives in Nashville. She won actually the okay. Okay, she was on The Voice and then she won the next one, which was American Idol. American Idol. Okay, and she won and she's actually sang the national anthem at the PBR event that I just went to a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I know. I'm attending PBR events. My life has changed. And
Is that rodeo? Is that rodeo?
Pumps and Cadillacs to cowboy hats, and yeah. It's very fun. Whole new learning thing. So anyway, she's also was in a Hallmark movie, a Christmas movie. She came on, we have a leadership academy for young girls, and she came on and she said that her very first time that she was going before an audience of judges, it was The Voice, and you had to practice a 90-second piece of a song for every single day for 30 days, like to set yourself up. And she's an awesome singer. She won American Idol, but she hadn't at that point. Voice was first, and she went on The Voice. She belted out her song, and no one turned around. No one. So for those of you who know, the backs of the judges have their back to you. And then if they want to represent you or then they turn around. So they're like, I want you. I want to represent you. I want to be your agent. I want to whatever. And they turn around. Well, no one turned around. No one. So imagine standing there with no one turning around. And then she said, they not only usher you off the stage, but they put you on the bus with all the other losers, the losers bus. The loser's bus. And she goes, you all don't know the loser's bus. And they take you to the loser hotel where you're going to stay out with all the other losers so they can fly you home the next day. And she said, I was devastated. So I cried for a day. She said, I gave myself, I think she said 2 days. She gave herself 2 days, which incredibly mature. So here we're talking about the maturity of mentality. I'm crying for 2 days, and then I'm not going to make that my identity. See, failure is part of a legacy of your life. Messing up is part of the fabric of your life. If you try to avoid it, you will not allow yourself to be successful. If you get, the fear is not the failure and the mess up. The fear is the identity that you allow yourself to latch onto with the fear and the mess up. That's not your identity. It was just a blip on the screen. Now, she could have made it her evidence. She could have said, obviously, I can't even get anybody to turn around in The Voice, so I'm never going to go and try out for American Idol. I'm never going to sing in the Grand Ole Opry. I'm never going to do any of those things that are because look at this. This is the evidence. I'm not good enough, whatever it was. But she gave herself 2 days to cry. And then she said, she woke up the third day and said, what am I going to do with this lesson? I am going to start hanging around people who are better than I am to sharpen me. So I need to go find those people. I am going to study my singing at such a level of concentration that I'm going to get better and better and better, because I know I have the capacity and the potential. So when you use your potential, God unleashes more potential. So you don't ever run out of potential. He continues, there's more potential in you than you have years to even utilize the potential. And yet, you're not going to be privy to the depths of it until you use some of it. Use some of it, and then the other of it comes to the surface. Use some of it, then the other potential comes to the surface. You don't tap into the greatest forms of your potential. You tap into what this reservoir, this right now that's here. Then here's what's exciting is like now I am able to use aspects of my potential that I couldn't have used 5 years ago. I was not aware of 10 years ago, but because I was always on a trail and a journey of getting better and learning more and listening to the Lord and seeking him out so that I could have a bigger platform or I can make a bigger difference. Like how can I do that? Then all of a sudden I discovered there's even stuff I can do that I had no idea. So you're not going to hit a wall and then you've reached the end of your potential. No, if you hit a wall and you get stuck, you've reached your end of your willingness to get past the wall.
Mm.
And she said, now I'm going to move to Nashville. And she did. And her coach that she got, that trained her, took her to American Idol, drove her to American Idol. And halfway there, she started to have an anxiety attack. Pull over, can't go. I can't face this. I can't face another rejection, like no one turning around their chair like this. All of that flooded back to her. And he said, you just stop it right now, because if you think I'm going to let you out of this car, you're wrong. I'm taking you to American Idol and you are going to sing that song. And there's no way you're going to get out of this. So get over it. Stop breathing like a crazy person. Here's a bag, breathe into the bag and you're going. Like sometimes we need those people in our lives who will not allow us to get lost in the fear, but to operate in the power of where we need to be operating in. So I am by Erwin McManus not personality, but communication frequencies. He has communication frequencies. So if I'm ever invited back on, Diane, I will talk about that.
Oh yeah, you're invited back whenever you want. Just pick a Wednesday, you're there. You're here.
And my frequency on his different communications is Maven. What a Maven is somebody who absolutely disrupts what you think you knew. That is the desire of my heart. I want to disrupt what you think you know, because if you need to think something different and create a new mentality that's going to break loose your ability and belief in yourself to lead an extraordinary life, that is my assignment.
Mm. Wow. And you live it so well. I don't know about the rest of them, but I've got pages and pages of notes. I can't wait to go back. And that when you were talking about me, I'm going to have Debbie, my assistant, pull that out. I think I'm going to start my day with that. Stacy has always exceeded our expectations. I believe that this energy awareness makes the difference in next week in my book, we're just going through my book here, and you don't have to buy the book, right? You don't have to buy it because I basically read it to you. But we're next week, we're walking into the land of lazy. And then we're going to learn how to meander through the maze of mediocrity so that you're living in the land of excellence. What I know what Stacy taught you today is that you literally could skip those other two. And the only reason I go through the other two is for you to have awareness where your friends are at. And Stacy, there's your ability with words, the way you connect words connects it to our hearts. You take really complicated concepts. And that's what I was saying whenever we got started. This is what makes you so extraordinary. I've heard you teach this, I don't know, a gazillion times, and I probably took more notes this time, but you give us the whole thing on gratitude. What if the thousands of people that will see this, what if every single one, like our prayer is every single one of you choose to start operating at least in gratitude? What if every single one of us this week, wherever we were at, we chose to go to the next one? Can you imagine the ripple effect in our families, in our communities, in our country, in the world? And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what this is all about. Sparkle Lunch and Learn is about changing the world by changing your thoughts and why you're doing what you're doing. And Stacy, you have equipped us. So it's not so, I need to be more grateful. well, crap, I'm not grateful for anything. I'm grateful for my toe. Do you know what I'm saying? But like you gave us ways to be able to do that. And not only that, not to stop there, because I think a lot of times people just stop at that, but to go all the way up to irresistibility. Now, what's so funny, and you don't know this, 2 weeks ago, I had one of my dearest friends on, Laura Littleton, who was on The Voice, and she made it around the first time, but then the second time, they just gave her a weirdo song. I mean, it was crazy. And so we just kind of talked through that. So, but again, she's just continuing on. And I wonder how many of us today, and I know we're over time, but I wonder how many of you all, you said this earlier, that we've got to push through the wall, right? That our identity changes only whenever our willingness stops us from pushing through the wall. So what wall do you, Sparkle Sisters, do you need to push through this week? Last question, Stacy. Is there a foundation, if they were maybe interested in checking out or donating or volunteering, is there any, I should have asked you prior to this, is there that one that you're involved with, or?
The Grit and Grace Nation.
Is that the one? Okay, that's the one you were talking about, Grit and Grace Nation. Okay.
The Grit and Grace Nation.org is the website. Yeah, and it is chapters for young women, young ladies, and a leadership academy for them to be able to learn and be established in all the life tools so they can live extraordinary lives. And everybody should buy Diana's book. Yes, they need, no, look at her do that. Yeah, because then you not only have it to go to follow through with her, but then you have it so that you can refer back to it, because there's no, we always have to refer back to things. That's learning is not happen just like one time and makes sense to us for the moment. We lose it tomorrow.
That's right. Well, the only reason why I do that is because I really just want this hour, somebody not trying to push a product down your throat. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just free, like this is just a free space for us to all grow together. And so, and I thank you so much for that endorsement, for sure. I just want that one place where somebody is not selling something.
I do, and I appreciate that immensely. And she had no idea I was going to say that.
That's true. All right, well, y'all, let's go raise the next level on our energy, and let's change the world, okay? Sparkle Sisters, I'll see y'all next week, okay? All right, bye-bye, y'all. Oh, look at you.